Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start our Test 1 review day. We had a request for Fall 22, Test 1, Part 3, which is always nomenclature. She requested the last molecule be done. This is a bicyclomolecule. You must identify the two bridgeheads first. They're in green. What makes something a bridgehead is a good question. They are the only carbons shared by all possible rings. There's a possible ring going this way. There's a possible ring going this way. There's a possible ring going this way. In every example, the two dots were involved in every ring. You cannot say the same thing about any two other carbons or any other carbon in this molecule. One of those dots must be carbon number 1. It's a bicycle rule that can never be violated. Carbon number 2 must be adjacent to carbon 1 in the biggest ring. This rule cannot be violated. So your two choices for carbon 1 are here in red, and that would mean this had to be 2. Or here for carbon 1, which means this has to be carbon 2. Which of the two methods, red or blue, will encounter a group first? It had a group on carbon 1 in the blue, so blue is the winner. We didn't even have to get to number 2, did we? Okay. What is that group on carbon 1 called? Trichloromethyl. Is it the only trichloromethyl in the molecule? No, there are in fact 3 trichloromethyls. And you gotta know Dr. Whitaker likes that. You're gonna be forced to write try and then try again. And they're both necessary. Try the first time means 3 identical groups. The name of the group is trichloromethyl. If you have the green tri, you need 3 numbers in front. Each trichloromethyl incidence gets a number. What number had the first trichloromethyl incidence? 1. What number has the second? I don't know yet. 3, 4, that's not 5, 6, but somebody said it, 8. Now, how do you say the next one's also on 8? Do you just leave it like it is here? No. Also on 8. What are those groups on carbon 5 called? Careful. The group is called, on carbon 5, the group is called, I know it's 2 groups, but they're the same group. What is each one called? Chloro. How do you say there's 2 of them? Dichloro. What's first alphabetically? Chloromethyl or chloro blank? Chloro blank. Okay, yes. Yeah, well, we're going to have to live through that. They don't see it in the video, so you will have it clearer on the video than in class. We have technical issues, I know. So carbon 5 has a chloro and it gets listed first. So chloro is the group. How do you say there's 2 of the same group? Di. If you put di there, you need 2 numbers in front. Don't just write 5, you're going to lose a quarter point. Yes, I can almost guarantee on the same type of question on your exam, there will be many students just writing 5-dichloro. I would be immensely happy if this is the first semester it doesn't happen. Yes, they don't write 5-dichloro and say, it's obvious it has to both have to be on 5. Yes, you are right, but that's not the way they decided to do nomenclature, and you have to learn the way they decided to do nomenclature. If you're using di prefix, you get 2 numbers in front. Notice I said prefix. All right. If there's a group with a di in the name, that's something else. Like a dichloromethyl group. That's a dichloromethyl group. 5,5 dichloro. Okay, we got all the groups covered. I'm pretty sure we do. How do you say it's the bicyclo system? It always goes the same when you're doing the bicyclo. What's the word you start with? I said it already. Bicyclo. And a square box, square parenthesis with 3 numbers and 2 dots in it. Biggest number first, and I know it is 8 because I have to go from 1 to 10 without counting 1 and 10. It's 8. There are 8 carbons between the green dots and the biggest bridge. That's what the 8 means. 8 carbons between the dots in the biggest bridge. How many between the 2 dots in the second biggest bridge? It's to the left. 6. I'm going to trust you. How about the smallest bridge in the middle? 2. If you add 8, 6, and 2, and then add the 2 dots that you never counted, you'll get the total number of carbons in the ring. 14, 16, and then the 2 dots is 18. Do you agree? And it's octadecane for 18. And this is a 3-point question, and you've got 1.5 out of 3. Yes, nomenclature is like that. A lot of work for not a lot of points. But we can't even talk about chemistry without it, so I can't say it's unimportant. Stereocenters are very important. That's why I give half the credit on this for stereocenters. How many stereocenters are there? Some of you are tempted to say 3. Good, you're not one of them. Oh, some of you are tempted to say 4. Good, you're not one of them. How many stereocenters are there, really? This is not a stereocenter. These 2 groups are identical. This is not a stereocenter. These 2 groups are identical. You need 4 different groups on a stereocenter. Carbon 1 is a stereocenter. Carbon 10 is a stereocenter. I'm going to erase the red now because I'm tempted to talk about it already and it's no longer relevant, right? Don't need the red. Okay. So, stereocenter on 1, let's start. What's the number 1 priority on blue stereocenter number 1? Yes. Somebody said CCl3, I have to agree. Why is this the 2? There are 3 CH2s that are tied. This one goes to a second CH2 and then it has a carbon with 2 bonds to carbon. All the other ones, 1 CH2, 2 CH2s. The third C does not have 2 more Cs. 1 CH2, 2 CH2. The third C does not have 2 more Cs. So 2 is 2. And I like this for 3 for the similar reason. This thing hits this carbon over here 3 carbons away. 1, 2, 3. The 4th carbon away, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this one, 4th carbon, 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't have chlorine. So that's the 3. There's the 4. Dr. Whitaker will be making you do lots of double switches on your first test. You have to do a double switch when the 4 is not on a dash or a wedge. That's it. When you're doing a nomenclature question and the number 4 group is not on a wedge or a dash, you must do a double switch or a technique that you have learned that is reliable. I'm only grading your answer. If you can do it another way that's better for your visualization, then please do. Okay, double switch is just a trick that's foolproof for me, and this fool has trouble rotating things. So that's why I share this trick with you. Find the 4, put it on the dash. That means you switched it in this case with the 1, which was on the dash. That's a single switch. Don't stop at a single switch ever. You will get it wrong. Switch the other 2. In this case happens to be 2 and 3. 3 is now up here where 2 was, and 2 is here where 3 is. This is an S stereocenter on 1. You write 1, and then you put S, and there's multiple stereo centers, they need to be in parentheses. Okay, I am not a big guy on taking points away if your parentheses are, you're missing a parenthesis rule. I'm not big on that. If I see the one S, comma, something, I'm happy. Okay? The things you lose points on are alphabetization. If I switched chloral with trichloromethyl this way, you're going to lose a quarter point. It's not the end of the world. If you numbered backwards, like instead of the blue system we decided on, use the red, you're losing a quarter point. This is not bad, okay? From a bad name that you numbered it backwards, I can still draw the right molecule. That's the big thing, isn't it? So really, you're not making big mistakes with numbering and alphabetizing. But naming groups wrong, I can't draw the molecule from that, right? Half point, each group wrong. 3/4 of a point, each stereo center that's wrong. So if you write S when it was supposed to be R, you just lost 3/4 of a point every time. Okay? Next stereo centers on carbon 10, we'll do it in baby blue. Wow, CH2 is all the way around, but I think you guys are going to agree. This one hits something first this time, right? CH2, C with nothing but C. You can't say the same thing about these CH2s. But this would be the 2. It goes one more carbon to get C with nothing but C. And 3. Looks like I cut you some slack on this one. The 4's already on a dash, right? I mean, statistically speaking, that should happen 25% of the time, right? You're welcome. Just luck. You can do a direct connection 1, 2, 3 and get R. So stereo center on carbon 8, or 10, sorry. 10 is R. And that highlighted name will get full credit. Whoa. Yeah, the highlighter makes it look wet when you don't do that. We don't like wet highlighter. They make it continuous. It's kind of fun. Peaceful. All right, that's it for there.